Hey everyone, so my investment advisor just made some moves and I wanted to get this video out quickly and share them with you. It's not going to be as edited and action-packed as the usual stuff, in the interest of time, so let's get right into it. So I use Capital Trades to stay abreast of what moves the most delightful people in America are making, and Nancy is one of those people. She's one of my favorites because she's become something of a trading rock star over the years. And she's been in Congress forever, so I think that comes with a bit of predictive power for what we can expect from the markets. Obviously, we're just having a bit of fun, so take this with a grain of salt. Anyway, I think her recent stock moves reinforce my general bullishness for 2025, and in fact, she's being quite aggressive. If you look at her most recent filing, she still appears to be largely bullish on the usual suspects in her favored tech sector, notably Alphabet, Amazon, and Palo Alto Networks. I threw this quick spreadsheet together so we can try to get some ideas from her recent transactions. You can pause on this if you want, but I won't read these out line by line. We're just going to go over a few highlights. First of all, she sold 31,600 shares of Apple on December 31st, 2024, which I think is at a good run, and while it could continue to go up, I don't think it's going to outperform, so no surprises there. I've been a Google bull for a while now and made some videos about why I think that the DOJ is basically toothless with this antitrust stuff, and seeing Sundar Pichai hanging out at Trump's inauguration, chilling with Zuckerberg, Bezos, and our other favorite oligarchs kind of reinforces my thesis, which I've shared with you before, which is that I'm broadly bullish on oligarchy. What I like about Google right now is that as of January 22nd, it's only trading about $10 above the price it was when Nancy bought in. As you can see by my spreadsheet, her basis is like $190, so if you want to get into it now, that might be cool, or if you want to wait for it to sink to 190 or lower again, that's good too. You could even sell puts on it for a strike price of 190, that might be a good move. I would definitely do that, but I might need to free up some capital from other trades before I can. Anyway, the stock that's closest to Nancy's basis right now is Palo Alto Networks, so if you want to blindly follow in her footsteps, you can move on this one right away. Not saying you should do that, but you do you. A couple of other interesting picks here. Tempest AI, which is a healthcare AI stock, and Vistra, which is an electricity and power generation company. I guess for that one she was thinking the same thing as I was a few days ago. You'll recall I recently shared an electricity/power play with you, except my idea was slightly less bullish than Nancy's. I basically said that you might want to consider selling puts on URA, which is a uranium miners index. I guess great minds think alike. Is it possible that Nancy is watching my channel? Anyway, as you can see, she bought 50 calls for both Tempest AI and Vistra, expiring a year from now with strikes of $20 and $50 respectively. Another thing I wanted to point out. Unlike my outlook, which was tenuously bullish, Nancy's plays are a lot more bullish. Especially her Google and Amazon plays. She's buying 50 calls for both companies, all dated a year out. Rather than buy stock, she's straight up just buying calls. They're very deep in the money, with like 99 deltas, but they're still calls. She's basically betting these stocks will definitely not sink below the prices they're at now. I'd like to point out a couple more things. Nancy tends to favor very deep in the money calls dated a year out. Gambling degens on Wall Street bets could learn something from her. Rather than fucking around with zero DTE, out of the money calls, they could actually have a long-term strategic outlook. Or at least do what I do and play with options that expire 21 to 45 days out. Give yourself some time for your thesis to play out, for God's sake. Anyway, obviously there's a drawback here. Buying calls that are this deep in the money this far out is very expensive. For example, if you wanted to buy an Amazon call for a strike price of $150 expiring January 2026, it would cost you $9,400, which is kind of a lot. But what can we brokies do to capitalize on what we've learned from our Queen's 2025 outlook? Well, we could possibly buy leaps on lower cost S&P 500 alternatives. These are pretty overweight in Amazon, Google, Nvidia, and the other tech companies, so we could possibly expect to see some appreciation on the S&P as a whole. It won't have the explosive gains of our tech oligarchs, but factoring in the leveraged returns options provide, it might be worthwhile if you want to do something more aggressive in 2025. QQQ is kind of expensive right now, so that's probably out for the same reasons that you wouldn't want to buy leaps on Amazon or Google. A lower cost alternative is SPLG, which is currently trading at about $71.44 a share. Unfortunately, the trading volume on this one is quite low, and the furthest call we can buy is December 19th. 2025. So if we follow our Queen's method of buying super in the money calls and buy this leap with a $50 strike price, that would cost us something like $2,600 on the high end, which might be more accessible to smaller accounts. Again, this isn't perfect because SPLG has a much lower trading volume, especially this far out, and it's an S&P index, so it's pretty low volatility, which means the premiums won't be that juicy. But if we're buying premium, that might work to our advantage. Anyway, if you're super bullish for 2025 and you don't have a lot of money, this could be an alternative. The bid-ask spread is kind of nuts, ranging from $21 to $26. But let's say you get in right at the middle at about $23.50. So the cost of your call would be $2,350. If you go to optionsprofitcalculator.com, you can see that if SPLG goes up to $81, which I think is totally reasonable, your profit at expiration would be $750, a 32% return on your money. Honestly, if you're a member of Theta Gang like I am, there are probably lower risk ways to churn out 32%, at least in this market. I don't know, I feel like even selling puts on Uber might have a comparable or even lower risk profile than doing this. You could also try this on SMH, which is a tech index with better options volume and premiums, but that would also be kind of pricey. Some closing thoughts. Don't let FOMO get a hold of you. I know personally I get excited when new Nancy trades drop, but don't overextend yourself. Be patient, analyze the trade, and if it makes sense, go for it. Remember, investing is a long game. You need to live to trade another day. Anyway, my dear cultists, I hope you have found this helpful. And if you're enjoying the channel, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And if you're balling out of control, consider becoming a member, either here or on Patreon. It's just a few bucks and it would help me feel good about myself. And that is all for now, my friends. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.